Hey guys.
Hello, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
We've already earned 2 thumbs up.
Yay! Thanks for thumbing up, guys. If you guys are here, please give us a thumbs up. And for those of you that have, we want to give a big thank you for you for doing that.
I just noticed my thumbnail jacket is different than this jacket. I was wearing a darker one.
I was wearing no jacket, so.
We've changed since then.
So we call this a Mother's Day special, and then we were talking about it. We're like, that makes it seem like we're going to do something special. We're like, well, it's special because it's Mother's Day. So hopefully that did not confuse anybody. That's not causing any excitement that's not due. But anyways, we want to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day, whether it be actual kids, adopted kids, or stepmom or fur mom. Happy Mother's Day.
A fur mom?
Yeah, fur mom.
What are you talking about, fur moms?
If they have pets like DeLuna.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. And we wanted to start off this live stream by letting you know that we do appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for my mother. I was sharing a little story today about my mom at church. I don't think I'll share it now. Should I tell the story?
Tell the story.
We got time.
It's an interesting story.
Everybody wants to hear the story.
Story time.
So I was thinking of some fond memories that I have of my mom, and this one kind of came to mind. We grew up. I grew up in a. It would be considered government housing apartment complex, and it was a pretty rough neighborhood that we lived in. And the apartment complex was right next to a public park. So,
hello, Copperhead.
Hey, Daniel and friends, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I know that they're busy working on their. I always say it wrong.
High tunnel.
High tunnel. So thank you for taking time to celebrate with us, Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Rua, if
Yeah.
you watch this.
Mm-hmm.
So we grew up in a pretty rough side of town, in a rough apartment complex. Some people would call it the projects, but it was inner city, and it was mostly minorities. We were actually minorities in that apartment complex, so there wasn't many white kids. So one day, we were out playing baseball. Actually, the way I remember it is I was inside the apartment, and we lived on the second floor. And my brother, who's a year and a half younger than me, had been playing baseball with some of his friends outside. And he comes running up the stairs, and he's screaming, and he's got this big lump on the top of his head. And he comes running in. They hit me. I got hit with the bat. And he's crying. Now you got to keep in mind he's probably 15 years old, and the kids he's playing with are like high school age kids. These aren't just little 8 and 9 years old kids playing baseball. So my mom hears this, and she's like, "What? They hit you with a bat?" So she grabs a bat out of the closet, and she goes running down the stairs. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So my brother's trying to explain to her what happened, but she's not listening. All she heard was somebody hit her son in the head with a bat, and she's gonna go find out who did it. So she goes running out there, and like I said, I'm kind of trailing, and all the kids were still playing baseball. The game just went right on after my brother left. So she comes running up and says, "Which one of you hit my son with a bat?" And they're all, "Oh," and they knew she wasn't very happy. And they all started backing up as soon as she started coming out. And
She must have had a crazy look on her
oh yeah,
eye.
she had that devil eye in her. And so then, they're like, no, nobody hit him on purpose. And I don't remember who gave the explanation, but what had happened was my brother was trying to catch the ball. He was the catcher, and he went to catch the ball before the batter could hit it. So he moved ahead, and the batter ended up hitting him with the bat. And so it was unintentional, but that she didn't know any of that. But I brought that up and I shared that story today, and it reminded me really of the mother's instinct. She turned down every thought of reality, every
Self-preservation.
yeah. She didn't have any thought for her own life. She was just going out there to find out who hurt her son. And yeah, that was a little story.
The mama bear instinct kicked in.
Yep.
So Don Thomas came in. So hello. Thanks for coming in early. We saw that you commented earlier, Don Thomas, and thank you for wishing us a happy Mother's Day. I say us like they're
It's okay.
Happy Mother's Day. So thank you for coming in. We really appreciate it. Well, he was on the video that we posted yesterday also on the
Don Thomas was?
Mm-hmm. And so that was neat to see him. I was like, hey, it's Don Thomas.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant Lioncrest live stream, because I was watching Lioncrest. You can see him on there, Lioncrest Outdoors. He had a live stream last night for a couple hours. I thought you were saying he was on that live stream.
I don't know if he was.
I got you though.
But 4-Day was on here. So hello, 4-Day Homestead.
Hello, Anna.
Yes,
Thanks for joining us.
And LG Homestead came in. So
LG
hello.
Homestead throws out a howdy. Howdy to you.
Yeah. Oh, and Anna, we did want to actually announce that we did mail those magazines out. So those have been sent out in the mail. They should be on the way. I was actually surprised. The expected date was like Monday. No, it wasn't Monday. I thought it would be Monday. It was like Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm like, that's a little late, but unfortunately Patty's on here. Hello, Patty.
Hey, it's Patty Craig.
Hi, Patty. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, I guess I don't need to be saying people's last names. Sorry, Patty.
So 4-Day, the magazines have been sent out. So I just wanted to say that real quick.
Yeah, we sent out your magazines. We wanted to get them out earlier, but we don't go into town that often, and we try and make sure that we have like 3 or 4 things. We could actually talk about what we did on Friday, because that was pretty eventful when we did go into town.
I know Abby was here earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if she.
Abby's life on the farm.
So Abby, I know that you were here earlier before the live stream hit, and you hit us a little comment. So thank you. And I haven't officially said welcome. So I got distracted with Patty's comments. But Abby, thank you for coming in.
Sorry, Patty.
And then William came in.
William, don't say his last name though. We're trying to keep people's aliases undercover.
Hi, Lily.
So what were we? Oh, we were talking about yeah. So we were kind of storing up a list of things to do.
Oh, Ben Peterson.
And then
Hi, Ben.
Hello, Ben. Happy Mother's Day. So then Friday became that day that we got all of our errands run. So we started off by going to the farmer's market. I actually took a class for the farmer's market 2 weeks ago, and that was about like handling food preparation and basically how to keep your food sanitary when you're prepping it, and just being mindful. There was a couple things that got me thinking, like you don't want to be growing food downhill from your septic tank. Just some things to be mindful of. It was pretty good. It was put on by the extension office, Kentucky Extension Office. So we were trying to kind of just keep in the loop at the farmers market. We didn't go to sell this time because we don't really have enough to make it worth it to sell. But the first thing we did was stopped at the farmers market, and then what else did we do?
We took trash.
Yeah, we had a bunch of flooring and ceiling stuff. If you guys have been watching those videos, so we take our trash in and dump that while we go into town.
We went to the library too.
We went to the library, went to the bank. Yeah, we ran a bunch of errands.
I went to salvage.
Oh, we went to the post office.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's the main reason. That's the main reason. So we actually had Sunny's. Is that what you said? Sunny's place.
Mm-hmm.
Said, "Hola amigos, feliz Día de las Madres." So feliz Día de las Madres. And then we had Eddie's Crazy Homestead.
Ed's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ed's Crazy Homestead came in.
Hello, Ed. Yeah, so we went to the post office and we mailed out a bunch of stuff.
It was actually cute because I had all the packages inside of this basket, and then Paul was gonna take it. And
Okay.
yeah, it's up there. And so I thought that he would like take the stuff out of the basket and then like go into the post office. But he went with the basket, and he was so cute because he's all like masculine and he has this like little basket.
It's a cool basket. There's nothing
Feminine about
There's
it.
nothing girly about it.
I'll get it.
I don't worry about that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I had a bunch of stuff. Like she was mailing stuff out to her sister.
There's the basket.
There's the basket. It's pretty cool.
I like this basket.
It's kind of Native American looking, but it's actually made in Africa from an African grass. I think it's called like Aphafia grass. But yeah, I think you got that at World Market or something like that.
No, I gotten it at, I think it was Home Good. No, it's
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Yeah, the Whole Foods. Whole Foods. Whole Foods. Yeah, so I walked in with that basket. I had the magazines from last week's giveaway, and then I had some stuff she was sending to her sister out in Washington. And then we had 36 invitations. We made up some invitations with the kids at youth night at the church. And we sent those out to the houses in the neighborhood. We just looked up the different houses. And then we basically just made like personal invitations.
Yeah.
And sent those out.
And that was a lot of fun. We had done that for youth night.
Mm-hmm.
And when the pastor suggested it, I was all, But then it ended up being a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I was looking at some of the comments, and I was
Ask Ben Peters who he really is, at least first name.
That was by Patty.
All right, Ben Peters.
Who are you?
You've been found out, and we know that you're not really Ben Peters. Who are you?
And then Don Thomas, it says, how many ceiling tiles did you take down?
I mean, well, that's all.
Ben Peters has been found out. Just text me.
We know who you are, Mr. Peters. Don Thomas, we took out, I don't know the exact number, but we took out 4 rooms full of ceiling tiles. And the rooms are 15 by 15. So basically, we took out 900 square feet of ceiling tiles.
And I know that in the live stream, a couple people, including Patty, actually had mentioned for us to put masks on. And it's funny because it never dawned on me, to tell the kids or myself or Paul, to tell anybody to put on masks. It wasn't until I was editing the film and I was like watching Paul cough, and I was remembering like having the dirt in my hair, the dirt in my mouth. I was like, we should have put on masks.
Yeah.
It wasn't until that moment that it was like
That was good advice, Patty.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, I should have thought of that, and I didn't. And then when you guys started to mention it, I'm like, it's true. We should have been putting on masks because there was literally dust everywhere. I had this little thing on my hair that covered like a bandana. I put a bandana on my hair, and that was covered in dust. There was just so much dust. But as far as the ceiling tiles, we did talk about whether we should keep them and use them for insulation. If there was something else we could use them for, but we decided not to keep those. We decided to. Did you travel and you move blocks bigger? Sunny's asking. And then earlier, Sunny had also said that it was a cool basket. So thank you. I love my basket. I'd actually done some research on making that type of basket because they're so expensive. But then I realized that women, African women, actually it's not just women, it's African tribes and villages, they get together and they make these baskets and that's their income. And I'm like, I really want that basket. I like the look of it. And if it's supporting something like that, I'm going to invest. And so I did purchase the basket. It was expensive. I think it was like $50, something like that.
You spent $50 on that basket?
I love my basket. No, I didn't.
I was just going to justify that somehow. But I didn't realize it was $50.
I want to say it was $50. And it's neat because there was a couple of videos I had watched, and like that's what the people do. They get together, and like I said, it isn't just women. I keep saying women, but it's not. You can see them, like some are cutting, some are dyeing, and then you can see them making it. And I'm like, that is so wonderful that these people have the grass. They come together as a community. They make the baskets, and so it's to help support them. And I've had it for a few years now, and I love it. I love my basket.
Yeah, she uses it. I guess it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of house renovation whenever I'm not working on somebody else's house or at the funeral home. Hey, David Craig.
Hi, David.
He has his last name on there. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank
He's
you.
talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we've been working on the house, and we're actually a couple steps ahead of what we have out on YouTube. So
it takes a little bit to piece together the material. A lot of it too is I didn't want to just dump all the material because that's not the way my brain works. My brain works by categorizing, and so I was like, we're gonna categorize it for everyone's can't say that word.
Simplicity.
Yeah. And so that's what I was doing. So the next video is supposed to be the wall video, although we do have a video that I think we're going to put out before that because we have some additions on the homestead. Do you want to share? Oh, and then Jules came in. Hello, Jules. Thank you.
Jules. If you see me looking around the room, I was looking for my wife's. She usually has a bunch of Doctor Who related stuff, but I don't see it in here.
Hi, Allison.
So that's why I was looking around because you guys keep talking about Doctor Who stuff.
There's a blue box behind you.
Sunny and the Time Lord. Where's the blue box?
Right there.
Oh yeah. Can they see that?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. Yeah, you can see right here. There's my son dressed up as Doctor Who, and there was a big phone booth looking thing in the where was that, at Winter Haven?
It's Winter Haven.
It was like a Christmas event where you go into a neighborhood and they light up almost every single house in this neighborhood. Probably got about 60 to 100 houses. I don't remember, but it's pretty cool.
I noticed the blue box.
Noticed the blue box. What else was going on? I thought I missed something up there. Jules came in.
Oh, Sonny said Don Thomas. Oh, he's talking to Don Thomas. That's one of my all-time favorite shows. I agree. I love Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who so much. Actually, the 9, 10, and 11th Doctor are my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched them over and over.
Yeah, Doctor Who is too nonsensical for me, but she likes it.
I do.
She watches it. So another thing that we have on our announcements is we had 4 new births, 4 new lambs on the homestead, and we think that's going to be the last of them for this lambing season. So we bred the ewes, we bred the adults in December, and I think they're all done now. So we have a total of 8 lambs. We have 12 ewes, 12 females, and from them we got 8 lambs.
And a lot of these, this was their first.
Yeah. So most of these were singles. All but one was twins, and most of them are doing good. One thing that I really found to be helpful with the lambs is if you've seen our video, we have this little portable. We have this little portable. We call it the sheep shed, and it's basically some cattle panels with a 2x4 base, and it has a tarp over the top of it. And if we need it to be, what we mainly use it for, well, it actually has so many uses, because it's a shade cover, it's a rain cover, but then it's also a portable cage. So we kind of corral the sheep into there, and then we actually pull it with the sheep in it to the new location, and then we set up the temporary fence. But one thing that it's been really helpful for during this lambing process is to slow some of the mothers down, because a lot of times the mother sheep, they'll kind of go, they're looking for the best tasting grass in that area, and we've kind of given them a smaller area. It's never more than about a third of an acre. But the lambs, we've noticed, if they're constantly chasing the mother around, they kind of get weak. They kind of they get tired. They're, especially in the first couple days. So we found that if we kind of keep an eye on them, some of them, they'll drop the lamb and the lamb is like running within hours. So those ones are fine, but sometimes we have to slow them down and put the mother in and the lamb in for a day or two until the lamb gets enough strength, and then they're fine. So that has really helped. So we actually lost one lamb, our very first lamb we lost, and I think that was the reason we lost it, was because the mom was just going, she's just going everywhere, and the lamb couldn't catch up with her.
And the grass is long when you move them, and so it's fighting over the grass too.
Yeah, there's a struggle because the grass is higher. The grass right now is over 2 feet in most places. The grass is really coming in good. I don't know if you guys remember, about probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, we were actually talking about seeding, but we definitely don't need any seeding for the majority of the property. There's some areas that are sparse.
Really quick, so I keep saying it, it keeps getting stuck in my mouth. Ugh. Sunny's Place mentioned, I think I mentioned in a previous live, I'm a big sci-fi nerd. I do remember that one that we were all chit-chatting about our favorite Doctor Who and Harry Potter. I do remember that one, and I remember that Don Thomas was on there also, so I thought it was cute because they started talking about different sayings, and then Sony was mentioning that sci-fi is definitely nonsensical, and I agree. I love it. I think that's one of my favorite things. You can kind of turn off your brain and it's just chaos, and I love it. And then, did that say Wade? Wade?
Yeah, Courtney and her husband.
Hello, Wade. Family Homestead came in.
So that could be Courtney or her husband.
Yeah.
Or Courtney and her husband. Or...
And then they mentioned hitting the thumbs up, so thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, white family.
And then it says we have issues growing grass in some areas. So I know that you've been laying out hay as well. Like,
Yeah, the hay when we feed it in the winter real heavy, we'll have a little bit of seed in it, and we've noticed that that does help a lot. That is next year. What we plan on doing is putting the sheep in those areas. So I heard this quote, and it didn't actually make a lot of sense to me a year ago. But they said, when the grass is growing fast, move the sheep fast. When the grass is growing slow, move the sheep slow. So what we plan to do in the winter, this coming winter, is to keep the sheep as long as possible in different areas. So we still move them; they still move around the pasture. But right now, we're moving them every day or every 2 days. But in the winter, we'll go to like every 10 days almost. And that's to concentrate the hay in those areas where the grass isn't growing very well. And it's to concentrate the manure load to fertilize those areas. One thing that I have observed is that a lot of places where the grass is not growing very well is on the ridges where the water runs off, and there's not really any means for water retention, so the grass doesn't grow very well there. So one method that people use to rehydrate um, the landscape is a method called key line plowing. So what you do is you actually find a contour line, and you actually redistribute water from the valley, so the water doesn't all just come into the valley and go downhill and run off the property fast, but you find contour lines, and what that does is it actually distributes the water evenly and puts water back out at the ridges. So you may want to look into that. That's something that we plan on doing. We don't have a tractor, so we'd actually have to bring somebody in to do that. But we're getting very close to doing that. I had thought, after looking at a lot of different properties that I've seen on YouTube and different designs that I've seen online, I thought that we needed a lot more of them. Yeah, so swales are very similar. So depending on um, depending on how much rainfall you get, um, you may not want very large swales because you don't want to hold too much water on your landscape. So there is, there's different methods for different climates, for different areas of, depending on how arid the climate is. So the more arid it is, the larger that swale is going to be, because you're going to have an influx of water and you're going to want to hold a lot of it. But in our case, we're probably looking at somewhere around 40 to 60 feet apart. And then I've actually kind of started with some small scale swales, but they would be channels that are probably only 6 inches by about uh, maybe a foot wide. So they're not very big at all. Something that you could probably do with one plow pass. A lot of these swales, like you'd see in Australia or in the Southwest here, like in Southern California, Arizona, Texas, Southern Texas, a lot of those. Not like I say, I don't have a lot of experience in other places, but coming from Arizona, I did a lot of research. A lot of those are like basically huge excavation projects. So they'll actually bring out an excavator, and those will be like 3 feet deep, and they'll be like 6 feet wide. They'll be huge tunnels. So they'll dig out and then on the uphill side they'll mound the dirt to make that channel even deeper. So yeah, that's one method of rehydration that we plan on using, and we're kind of experimenting with it in different places. We have a place that we're thinking about putting a pond over by the tobacco barn, and I've actually put a couple small swales in there just to see what it'll do. And these are, like I said, these are just basically 6 inches by 6 inches that I just dug out with a shovel. Probably took about 15-20 minutes to make them, I don't know, probably 50 feet long.
So Sunny asked earlier if we are going to be going to the Heartland picnic in September. So as of right now, yes, we are planning on going. I'm actually really excited, especially now that we like connect with a lot more homesteaders. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, Drops makes a point that out west you get flash floods. We get possible flash floods here too, and that's one of the reasons that you have to make sure that you plan worst case scenarios. So you don't want to like store, yeah, you don't want to store a whole bunch of water above a building, or you have to have release vents, and you have to have a plan for those worst case scenarios. There's calculators that you can find on making swales, how far apart they'll be. So the closer they are, the less water that you're capturing in that area. A lot of people would think, okay, it just matters how deep I build the swale. But you have to think about how many square feet or how many acres on a larger scale, how many acres of property are you capturing water from? So if it rains, 1 inch over an acre, how many gallons of water is that? And then you can do a calculation on how many cubic feet of water that is. Then you can figure out how deep. And then, like I said, you have to calculate your worst case scenario so that you find out in 100-year flood, when the water really hits, you have to have an overflow path for that water to run out.
Part of it too is terrain on altitude, because I know even in Arizona we did have flash floods, but if you were higher, you weren't as versus lower. Yeah. I mean, that's even here.
The smaller the swale is, the less impact it's going to be if you do have a flood situation, because you're not holding that much water. I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you're only holding, say 5,000 gallons of water and you get a breach and that runs out, it's not going to be as big as if you had, 5 million gallons of water all trying to run off of one place. So yeah, definitely do your homework on that. We're learning more and more about that. One thing that I've really learned is it doesn't have to be a huge system. Like a lot of times you think, oh, you gotta plan out every single part of this huge system. Like if you want to plant and start, say, a 50-foot row of you could integrate some fruit trees, nitrogen fixers. Like we're using a lot of black locust as our nitrogen fixers. So you could say in 50, well, let's go a little bit bigger. Let's say 200 feet. We'll say we'll put nitrogen fixer, black locust, apple, pear, hazelnut. We'll put a chestnut, and then maybe a couple more fruit trees, and then another nitrogen fixer. So you could take that and you can just put that in a pasture, and then put a swale.
You kill that spider.
That
right there. I hate spiders, guys. Sorry.
So you could put a swale that just waters that particular basically what they call that in permaculture is a guild or a small group of plants. And then it just waters that. It's not real big, but it catches a lot of excess water. that normally would just run past. And then whatever overflows, it just overflows, and it's not that big of an issue because you haven't created a big, huge system. So we're actually experimenting with quite a few of those. We put a couple peach trees and nitrogen fixers, a couple black locusts, and we just put those out in the pasture, and you can already see that they're starting to capture water. The grass is growing better in those areas. So yeah, don't be afraid to experiment with it.
So Don Thomas asked, can you cook tamales in a rice cooker? I love tamales. I love tamales too. I actually really tamales with eggs. Oh, they're so delicious. So I actually don't make that many tamales. We did one year, my sisters and I, we decided to do tamales, and we decided to do everything from scratch. So story time. Detour. Talk about tamales real quick.
From swales to tamales in 1.2 seconds.
Welcome to the Conrad homestead. So we decided to do tamales from scratch, and we were struggling with the masa, putting it on the little the corn husks. We were having a hard time because we couldn't get it to like spread correctly. And it was so funny because we called Paul in. We're like, Paul, what are we doing wrong? What do you think we need to do? And he got a tool. I don't even remember what it was. And he was like, it's almost like drywall. And he began to like slap things up. He's like doing all these corn husks, and he spread it so great. And it took so much work. So since then, I have not done tamales. I know that you can buy masa pre-made. You can buy a lot of stuff pre-made. I've just never ventured and done it. Although I love tamales, so I should try doing some because, like I said, I love it. So I don't know if you can cook it in the rice cooker. And then Drop's Family Garden also said saturation is an important factor too, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you
soil saturation.
He's the genius on there. Paul is. I don't. He mentioned also we used to jump dry.
Probably. Jump. Oh, yeah,
then,
jump with his bikes when he was a kid in Nevada. When it rained, it filled up quick, 15 feet wide, about the same depth. Don't miss the jump. Yeah. Yeah, we had similar, we called them washes in Arizona, and you would get flash floods, and you were always warned to stay away from those big ditches during a rainstorm because they could fill up quick and take you by surprise. I've seen a couple of them come in when I'd be we used to live not too far from a wash, and I'd go walk down there and stay on the surface, and you could actually see like a wall of water coming down. But yeah, it's that's actually something that should not be happening, believe it or not. That's a lot of that is man-made because the waterways have not been engineered to hold water on the location. It's been the thought, especially in neighborhoods, and it makes sense that that you don't want to have a bunch of really saturated soil around buildings, but there are ways, and it's starting to come around. There's actually a project in Tucson called Cut the Curb Project that if you're interested in it, look up Brad Lancaster. He actually wrote a book about, I think the book is titled Rainwater Harvesting in Drylands. It's a really good book on rainwater collection and doing passive and active rainwater collection.
He has a YouTube channel too, right?
Brad Lancaster? I don't think so.
I think he does. And it's funny because there was this store, it's called EcoGrow, that we would go to in Tucson. And Paul actually has a shirt that says EcoGrow. We got it from there. And it's cute because he'll comment every once in a while. But anyways, we were there. And for the first time ever, Paul had this like like starstruck look in his eyes. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, what's his name? Brad. He's all, Brad Lancaster's right there. And I was like, where? And then I saw him and it was like, you could just see Paul. He was so ecstatic. It was cute.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my heroes. Don't tell him I said that, but yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. Look up Brad Lancaster. So they actually are doing, they're involved, and they've got a lot of the city to get on board with basically making basins, or dry basins where they, he does have a YouTube channel.
Because I remember watching one of his shower videos and rainwater harvesting, and he had tanks.
Yeah. So the city of Tucson actually came out with tax incentives that would reimburse you for installing rainwater systems and using those rainwater systems to irrigate your landscaping. So they're kind of coming around to that. And in a passive rainwater collection system, you basically do earthworks so that the water has a chance to slow down and really seep into that site and water the plants and trees. I know a lot of people are thinking like, yeah, you don't want water on your property. You don't want to flood your property. I know. There's a way to do it though. If you do it correctly, the water can sit there and any excess runs off the same way that it would run off before. But if everybody did that, you would have less flooding if it was engineered for each property to hold more water. So I actually have a video where I show a property that we set up in Arizona. It's barely 1/10 of an acre, very, very small. It's in a mobile home community. We owned our land there. We didn't rent it, but so we were able to make changes to it. So there was about a 1,400 square foot mobile home, and then we also had a carport, and that was I'm trying to think of what the dimensions were. Probably about 15 foot by probably 40 feet. So it was fairly large surface area that we're collecting rainwater. And we rerouted the gutters and we rerouted the drains so that the water would start in one back corner and then it would actually snake and do, we put in two different layers, two different terraces, and the water would snake around and then it would finally go along the side of the house. There was another basin right there, and then it would finally exit the way that it would normally exit. So there was only, I think, 2 rain events where the water went through that entire passive system and the water finally made it back to the street. So the majority of the rain, I would say probably somewhere above 95% of the rain would stay on the property. And that was really neat. So there are ways of doing that, and it doesn't have to be all, some people get all carried away with I don't know, they just get funny about it, but
so Sonny
there's ways to do it.
Sonny was saying that they make tamales from scratch every Christmas because I can't get masa already made here. Oh, I wish I was one of those like faithful little workers that was like every Christmas or every Thanksgiving, whatever. I'm so foolish. To me, it's so much work, but I love tamales. I know that Don Thomas was saying that they like dipping the tamales in salsa. Spicier the better. Oh, I love spicy, but I don't like it when I'm like crying or my nose is runny. Paul says that I'm a broken Mexican because I like it just enough to taste, but like I like enjoying my food, and so I don't always like it super hot. But my brother-in-law, he did these surprise tamales, and it was by accident. They made like a super hot batch, and then like they made a lighter batch, and they had accidentally mixed them. So he was like, "It's a surprise tamal, like you don't know which one you're gonna get." And so it just so happened that I picked two, and both of them were like super hot. Like, I was still eating it because it was so good, but like my eyes are running, my nose is running. I'm like, I'm gonna die. It's so good though. I'm gonna keep eating it.
Yeah, they made some really good tamales.
Yeah, I like to just thinking about it makes my eyes water. Like it was such hot, but they were good.
Thinking about it makes my mouth water.
Yeah. And then he would say, Sonny also said that they're an expert masa spreader with that spoon. We should get you on that little spreader.
Hey, Bruce came in. Bruce from Swarmstead. Thanks for stopping in, Bruce.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Bruce. From Swarmstead. And then Drop Family said it was dug to protect a subdivision. So I think that's when you were talking about the cut the curbs.
Yeah, he's talking about washes, big ditches to channel the water out.
And then Drop also says, yeah, I thought about a water collection system. You know what? Just subcontract out the labor to relatives to make them. It's true. I should. But I don't have any family here.
Yeah, you're talking about water collection, and it doesn't all have to be in containers too. A lot of people, when they think of rainwater harvesting, it's not all in containers. That would be considered active. So you actually have to, set up the system for that, and then you have to have valves where you open it and manually use that rainwater. But just digging a basin or rerouting with very small channels is what's known as passive rainwater collection. So you can do earthworks that passively collect rainwater. Just by observation, I've noticed places, we have the sheepdog that's out in the pasture, and places where she'll get hot in the warm part of the day, and she'll dig a little hole to put her chest on the cool ground, the wet ground. And she's not digging very big holes, but she dug them when it was warmer, probably about 6 months ago. But now we're coming back around to those spots, and the holes are probably like maybe 10 inches deep, and they'll probably be about maybe a foot circle. And those areas have a ton of grass in them. They've got very, very deep green clover, and like my first instinct was like cover up the hole so you don't trip over the hole, especially when there's grass and you're walking through there. But then I got to thinking, you know what? I'm gonna leave the hole and I'm gonna see what comes of it. Maybe it'll be a little mini pond. And sure enough, it collected water, and it's rehydrating just that simple little hole.
Bar Run Forge came in. Hello.
Hey, BRF.
And then was it Luna or was it that dog that was helping dig your little hole over there?
Yeah, it wasn't helping. It was tearing it up.
Which one was it? Anyways, one of the dogs
was the sheepdog.
Was helping Paul. So Paul had dug that
it's a mini swale.
Swale. Yeah. He dug it, and so the dog thought it was like a happy mouth. And she also dug it, and it was hilarious. I found it hilarious because Paul had dug, and then the dog had dug some more.
Yeah, she tore it all up.
It's like, you don't know what you're doing.
Well, the thing is, it held the moisture, and the ground was wet there, so she was just like, all right, I got a little damp spot right here, and she just so now I have to route the electric fence around that little swale so that she doesn't get in there. And then the sheep ate 2 of my peach trees that I planted in there. Luckily, they were just volunteers that I pulled out from underneath another peach tree that's in another part of the property. Because if they were peach trees that I went out and spent like $30 or $50 on, man, I would have been mad. But yeah, the sheep just ate those things right down to the ground.
So Sunny was talking about tamales and the temperatures of tamales. So it's funny because my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law that make tamales, they actually make them every year. The ones that did the surprise tamales, they had gone to
Surprise!
New Mexico and had bought what kind of chiles?
Green chilies. Hatch green chilies.
That's the word. Hatch green chilies. So they gave us
those are good.
like a hot one and a medium one. And it's funny because we had gone to Ohio and I had some of them with us in the RV and I gave them to one of our friends there because she was talking about how she missed like really spicy stuff. She couldn't find anything spicy. So I gave it to her and I said, be careful. These are like really, really hot.
Yep.
I told her where we got them. I was like, be careful. And so she said that she was so excited. She opened it and she could smell the chile and like the hotness. So she decided to make a salsa with all the chiles. She said that it messed her up so bad. She was like, okay, I kind of forgot like what hot was because she'd been living in Ohio for so long. So when I gave her the warning, she didn't take it. And she's like, my nose was running and my eyes. And they talked about sweating. She said that she was sweating and that everyone was like, nope, we are not eating that. Like if it messed you up that much. And they were ghost chiles too because they came back and haunted her.
Yeah. I like the green chilies because you can get some that, and I don't know how they do this. Like you can get like different levels. Like you can go down and tell them like I want some that are medium or I want them a little hot. They have some that are extra hot that'll just kill you. But they all look the same, so you don't really have any way of knowing, but you can kind of enjoy it at your own, you can pick your poison.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I have a little higher tolerance than the other people in our family, but I like it, I like it a bit. Like if you were in the store, everything I eat would be considered hot, but it's not really hot. But then if you were to go to that Hatch green chili scale, it would probably only be considered like a medium.
So Sunny said, I never heard of them referred to as hatch peppers till I moved out of California. They're just chiles at that point. So I guess in New Mexico, they have like a...
Yeah, the town is called Hatch, New Mexico. That's where it gets, because that's their like thing. That's what they're known for.
But they do like a huge thing. I remember they were saying like they had
festival.
A festival. Yeah. That's the word I was looking for. I was like, it's right here. And so they brought back.
They probably brought back like 250 pounds of these things in coolers.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And they grill them. What do they call that when they
fire roasted?
Yeah, exactly. They fire roast them. And
fire roast that they're getting hungry. I agree. I actually just ate, but thinking of all this like chile stuff, I'm like, we should make some salsa. We should eat something hot.
Yeah, that is good stuff. That's
I love those Cheetos that are flaming hot. Does that tell you anything? So you know what's funny is that the kids and I and Paul, we like the, what are they, Tostitos? No, I always say them wrong.
Oh, you're talking about yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, they're purple. They're not Tostitos. They're
somebody
Takis.
knows on there.
No, they're not Takis.
Yeah, Takis.
Are they Takis?
Taki.
Takis.
Taki. Taki.
We love those, and we're always buying them.
Taki. She knows what they are.
Yeah, that's what they are. We gave it to our neighbors, like when certain events, like Easter or something, I'll make a little basket, and I like to give them Mexican candies because all of them don't eat Mexican candy stuff. So we gave one to one of our neighbors, and she said that it was so hot that she was like, her eyes were watering, and she was like, why would you do this to yourself? And that her dog was begging, and she's like, you don't want this, you don't. And the dog was like being persistent, so she gave it to the dog, and the dog was like, no. So she said she left it out, and a mouse came and bit a little corner and was like, nope. and left it. So she's like, that became like my mouse trap, like mouse proofing, is putting the tahis out.
The anti-mouse.
Yeah, but I love tahis. And then they're saying I miss Mexican candy. Oh, I agree. We actually found a few little spots. They definitely pay a lot more for them. But I go and I get like abuelitas there, abuelita chocolate,
Hot chocolate,
and Mexican candy. So yeah, the tahis though, I love them so far. Run, I was saying that earlier. Let me see here.
Yeah, but Walmart's starting to carry a lot of the Mexican candies now.
Yeah, it's true.
You can find a lot of the like tamarindo and
Mazapans.
Yeah, those gancitos. A lot of those Mexican brands have kind of integrated into the American marketplace, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I agree. Because I done some research. So I wanted to make sure that as I was giving it to the neighbors' kids and stuff, that I wasn't giving them anything bad. And I had done research, and a lot of them are. So a couple of people said, my girls, that was from Sunny, my girls love tahis. And this is and then Drop also says his daughter loves those tahis. Let me see here. Atlanta lived here. Those were the international farmer market there. From all cultures. Yeah, ours doesn't have a whole lot of. Our farmer's market doesn't have like a huge variety from what I've gone.
Yeah. There was an Oriental guy who had some really good pastries the other day. And he had these like fruit platters, remember?
Oh, that's right. They did.
We bought those, what did we buy from him? Cobbler? Apple cobbler?
Sunny was saying paletas de tamarindo. Usually I got, sorry, my mouth was watering. I tried talking. I started making some paletas of strawberries. Oh my goodness, they are so good.
Oh yeah, you have to do a video on that.
I do.
Yeah, she made they're like a Mexican popsicle, which is like a very rich cream. They use a special cream. It's not regular. What would it be called? Sour cream or table
no, it's
cream?
called Mexican sour cream.
It's like a table cream, and they use it a lot on tacos and stuff. But it has those particular, like there's an ice version or a water-based version of the popsicles, and then there's the milk or leche based version, and it has to have that to have the right taste. So
and it was funny,
the secret ingredient,
because I made some for our neighbors, and then like another lady, she was like, so I heard that you make these, and I was like, what? She's like, these things, and she begins to tell me, I'm like, oh, the paletas, and she's like, yeah, when are you gonna make me some? I was like, how did you know? Like, so the neighbors are telling other neighbors and telling people that I have these paletas. So I'm like, next thing you know, I'm gonna go paletas and ring a little bell.
Yeah. We're gonna have her walking around the neighborhood with one of those carts.
Paletas and tamales.
What were those guys called?
I don't remember.
The little guy would go pushing the little ice box around on the wheels.
Shh, I fried some paletas in corn oil last week.
Plantains. Not paletas. Plantains, which is almost like a banana.
Oh, I got distracted with paletas. I was thinking about paletas. I was like, that would be interesting.
Yeah. I already saw where you were going with that. I was like, yeah.
No.
She's getting lost already.
I saw the P-L and then went with paleta. I was just thinking about a cart with a squeaky wheel.
What was that guy called that used to come around?
I would just call him Paleta Man.
Paleta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all kind of worked for this one little ice cream shop, and they would come around our neighborhood. Yeah, it's actually interesting that we're sitting here in Kentucky and our topic is like Mexican candy and Mexican popsicles, because we keep finding a bigger and bigger network of people from the Southwest and the West Coast. Somebody in church today just walked up to us and was like, "Hey, you guys got to meet this guy that lives over down the street from me over here. He's from California, and they just started homesteading and this." And I'm like, "Really?" So it's pretty neat. So like the people that we visited the most here with is Red Silo Homestead, which has a channel, and the Anderson Homestead. And they're both from the West Coast.
And then we contacted the Copperhead too. Was the other one?
Yeah, Copperhead is from California too. So Red Silo's from California, and then Anderson Homestead is from Oregon. So it's kind of weird how that's the network, and we're kind of building up our little network and keep connecting with West Coasters.
Move this way.
Yeah.
All of us in Kentucky.
Yeah, that whole group.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of us are in Kentucky.
Yep.
I'm from Southern California and first generation American. That is neat. And we were actually talking about that because, there's a lot of different, I talked about there isn't a whole lot of culture, but there is, but it's not the one I'm used to, but there's a lot of Polish.
You keep moving farther and farther.
Sorry. There's a lot of Polish and stuff here and a few other nationalities. And so we were talking about that it's interesting how you have these like pockets. So you're talking about first generation. So that's really neat. Good food. I have to Google when Dia de las Madres is. I just thought of that right now.
It's just a couple days off of Mother's Day.
I know. I gotta call my nana. Sorry, I got distracted.
Almost. What was Drop's family talking about? This is almost, but you have to cook them.
Oh, the plantains.
Oh, I remember the name of the little guy. It was Mora Linda. That was the name of the little ice cream guy. The Mora Linda man.
He went to the neighbor's house the other day, the one with the apple orchard, and he went and knocked on their door and told them, tamales, no, tortillas. He said,
tortillas, tamales. Yeah, he already knew I was there. He's like, "Oh, I thought you were the Avon lady." Yeah.
This is almost my time.
Read it out loud.
You read it, because I always
Bar Run Forge says, "I spent most of my time in Honduras." I didn't know that.
Yeah, you did.
Loved it. One lady made a gumbo with hot sauce that she had to open and let set for 2 hours. The bottle was sweating. She put 3 drops in the gumbo.
Wow.
That's pretty cool to learn about you, though.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
On mission trips. That is so neat. And then 4 days said, I was lucky to get out of California before it got bad. Our family left the LA foothills in 1974.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, see, I'm telling you. It's actually really neat that we're all kind of from the same areas that are going in this direction. Hate to run, but my friends from here just started.
Yeah, we're about to close up.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yes.
Thanks, Emma. Emma is from Sunny's place.
So thank you everyone that came by, and Sunny, thanks for stopping by and going, for letting us know that you're going is what I meant to say. So thank you everyone. And I hope for all those mamas, once again, wishing you a very happy Mother's Day. I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day. I know I'm getting ready to go chillax and just hang out. Paul treated me and he made breakfast and lunch. And so I've had a very nice, relaxing day. So I'm ready for
a nap.
No nap. I don't do well with naps anymore.
I'm going to take a nap.
So yeah, for all of you ladies, all you mamas, either whatever kind of mama you are, happy Mother's Day. Bye, guys.
You guys be blessed, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.